Let's talk about Blade basic attack, what it does on his basic attack. So on his basic attack, Blade deals 100% of uh, Blade attack as wind damage to a single target. So Blade, basically what it's saying is Blade does wind damage to a single target. So when he does his basic attack, he consumes 10% of his maximum HP, and he deals. So he consumes his HP, and by doing that, he deals wind damage, total of 40% of his total attack, and 100% of his max HP. All right. In addition, moreover, he deals wind damage equal to 16% of blade attack, 40% of his max HP to a single target. So he also does additional 16% and 40% of his attack to a single target. All right. So that's what his basic attack does. Let's talk about his skill, Hellscape. So when Blade uses his Hellscape skill, he consumes 30% of his total amount of max HP to enter the Hellscape state. So when he uses his skill, he will consume 30% of his total max HP to enter in that Hellscape state. And when that skill is active, which is Hellscape, you cannot use the skill, and by doing that, his total amount of damage increased by 36%, and his basic attack, Shard Sword, the one that we talked about before, that enhances and deals AoE, multiple AoE wind damage to enemies. Let's talk about his ultimate Death Sentence. So when you use the Death Sentence, his current HP will. So basically, if you have 100, in simple words, if I have to explain it, so that you understand, when you use his ultimate, is out of 100% of his total HP, he will reduce to 50%. And when he does that, he does wind damage. So basically, if you have a full health and you use the ultimate, it will reduce to 100 to 50. So he consumes 50% of his max HP when you use the ultimate, and he deals wind damage to a single enemy, which is single target, to the sum of maximum of 30% of his attack. So he takes 30% of his attack, 90% of his max HP, and the HP that he lost, that I mentioned before, he will additionally deal wind damage to that target. He will deal wind damage to that target, and that also equals to the maximum 50% of attack, his max HP, and his HP loss. So that's a lot of amount of damage he does to a single AoE. So he does AoE wind damage by losing his HP, by taking the advantage of his attack, taking the advantage of his total max HP, and taking the advantage of his HP loss. He deals wind damage to a single target, which is an AoE wind damage to a single target. And this is the ultimate is really sick, I must say. Whoever made this ultimate, hats off to you. So that's what his Death Sentence, his ultimate, does. Alright, now we are gonna talk about his bonus ability. So when you get Blade and you unlock this three stuffs, I'm gonna explain what it does. So when you unlock this bonus ability, when Blade current HP is at 50% or lower, so when your Blade is at 50% of his health, or if it's lower, then he will get healed by 20%. So he can also heal himself, which is actually insane. So that just shows how immortal he is. Now the next bonus ability is Never Rendering Deaths. So this one was Vita Infinita, and this one is Never Ending Death. So Never Ending Death, if Blade hits a weakness broken enemy after using Forest of Sword, he will restore HP equal to 5% of his max HP plus 100. Plus 100. So basically what he's saying is, if the enemy has a wind weakness technique, which is a skill, he will restore HP equal to 5% of his max HP. So also, if he does that, he will also restore HP if the enemy has a weakness of wind. The next bonus ability, Cyclone of Destruction. So damage dealt by talent follow-up attack increases by 20%. So his talent, basically what he's saying is, follow-up attack is increases by 20%. Alright, now we are going to talk about his talent, Shuhu's Gift, the AoE. Alright, this is very good one. So when Blade sustains damage, so when Blade deals damage or consumes his HP, he gains 1 stack of charge. If you get a 5 stack of charge, he will immediately launch a follow-up attack like this. So when you get 5 stacks, he will immediately, like by an auto thing, he will immediately do a follow-up attack to multiple enemies. Like he will deal AoE wind damage to multiple enemies. 41% of his blade attack plus 103% of max HP. At the same time, he will also restore his HP, his HP by 25%. After the follow-up attack, all charges are consumed. So after he does that, his talent, he will not only do damage to multiple enemies, he will also heal himself by 25%, which is actually insane. That's what shows how immortal he is. But now we're going to talk about Blade Best Lightcones. Blade Best Lightcone is probably going to be the one and only, the unreachable sight. This is a very good Lightcone. This is a, if you are going for Blade, you need his Lightcone, because on his passive of his Lightcone, as you can see in here, it increases the crit rate by 18% and it increases his max HP by 18%. Alright, since Blade scales on HP, it's very important to have at least a total of 6000 HP on Blade. Almost 6000 plus HP on Blade. Always prioritize that. So his bonus, it increases crit rate by 18%. So when he equips that Lightcone, it will increase his crit rate by 18%, and not only just that, it will increase his max HP by 18%. The wearer, when the wearer is attacked, so if he gets attacked by enemy or he or consumes their own HP, their damage increases by 24%. So when Blade is attacked or he consumes his HP, his damage will increase by 24%. This is actually insane. This passive will remove after the wearer uses an attack. So when Blade uses his attack, this passive will not work. So keep that in mind. If you don't have this Lightcone, then I would recommend using this one. This one is also very good. As you can see in here, it increases damage by wearer damage by 40%. The wearer also deals extra 40% damage to enemies whose current HP is equal to or higher than the wearer current HP percentage. This is actually really good. This is an Arlen Lightcone. I think this is the second best Lightcone for Blade. If you don't have this, then I would recommend using this one. This one, you can use Mutual Demise. If the wearer current HP is lower than 80%, crit rate increases by 12%. This is the third Lightcone that I would recommend. Now we're gonna talk about Blade Best Relic sets. Blade Best Relic set is probably gonna be Longova's Disciple. Alright, this is his best relic set, 4-piece. On the 2-piece, it increases max HP by 12%, and on the 4-piece effect, when the wearer gets hit, so if he gets hit or he consumes his HP, his crit rate will increase by 8% for 2 turns. This can stack up to 2 times, so that's actually insane. Basically, it is 16%. So 2 stack. So for 2 turns, his HP, his crit rate will increase for 16%. So 2 into 8, 16. So that's 16% crit rate you'll get from this 4-piece passive for 2 turns. Alright. Now we're gonna talk about what you have to put in blade body piece. In the blade body piece, I would recommend using a crit damage main stat. On here, you can use an HP for maximum damage. If you use speed, then you might not get enough damage from out of him, because you will get less damage. I would recommend you using HP instead of speed. I know a lot of people will say speed is better because in MOC you will get 3 turns in 1 cycle, but if you use HP, it's better. But if you are doing in MOC and if you have a really good speed boot with insane crit damage and crit rate piece, you can use speed. But I always recommend using this HP because for maximum potential damage, I recommend using HP. In my opinion, HP is better. But if you are doing Memory of Chaos, then you can use speed. If you are doing Memory of Chaos, obviously, then I recommend using speed. So you can either use HP for potential maximum of his damage. You have to use HP. And you can also use speed for getting the extra 3 turns. It's always nice to have speed. On the planar spear, you can also use wind damage boost. Alright, you can also use HP. I know a lot of people say HP is not good, but since he scales off HP is better as well. After wind, you can also use HP on the planar spear. Alright, let's talk about his link rope. Link rope, I would recommend using HP. Alright, his blessed planar ornaments is probably gonna be the Inter Celasto. Alright, increases the wearer's crit rate by 8%. Alright, because I highly rate this because not when the wearer, so when your blade is above 50% crit rate, his ultimate and follow-up attack will increase by 25. Follow-up attack will increase by 15%, which is really insane. So you can also use, I think there's another one. You can also use this Brutalent Arena. I think that is his second. I think that is his best after Intercelasco. It increases the wearer crit rate by 8% when the wearer current crit rate reaches 70% or higher. The wearer basic damage, basic attack, and skill increases by 20%. This is his. I would say this is his one of the best planar ornaments after planar ornaments. This comes always first, and then I would say Intercelasco, because when your blade reaches 70 hit rate, his basic attack and his skill damage will increase by 20%. That is actually insane. Alright, so prioritize on getting crit rate, crit damage, and HP percentage on the substat. Alright, prioritize on that. Prioritize getting crit rate, crit damage, and a little bit of HP percentage would be nice. Alright, let's talk about his Eidilons. His C1, Blade curves the deepest in hell. So basically in C1, when Blade does his ultimate is basically increased by, so when Blade uses his HP, you don't so when you unlock this Eidolon, his his max HP will be capped at 90%. It will not reduce to 50%. So at E0 Blade, it reduced to 50% out of 100 when he uses the ultimate. But in here, when at E1, his HP will be capped at 90, so it will not reduce to 50, which gives an advantage, because if his HP is capped at 90, it will do additional 150% of daily HP loss. So basically, it will do a lot of damage. At E2, when Blade, so when he's in Hellscape state, which is a skill, his crit rate is additionally increased by 15%. His C3 is at basically increases his talent level by 3%. His C4 E4. When Blade's current HP drops to 50% or lower, his max HP but stacks up to 2%. Also, when he gets to when his current HP drops 50 or lower, it increases max HP by 20% and stacks 2 times. That is actually good. His talent level increases by 3%, and his E6, the maximum number of charge stack is reduced to 4. So the damage of follow-up attack triggered by Blade talent additionally increased by 50% of his max. That is actually insane. So basically, I think we talked about that talent. Shufu's gift, I think that one. So that talent does 20% follow-up attack. But when you unlock his E6, it will do additional 50%. So that's like 50 plus 20. So that's like 70% total attack. He will do follow-up attack. He will do multiple enemies. AoE will damage to multiple enemies when he uses his talent, Shufu's gift. So at E6, it's basically broken. If I would recommend you to stop at E2, I think I would recommend you to stop at E2. And if you're like a big whale, if you are like a low spender, then stop at E2. If you like a big whale, then go for E6. His best team comps is probably gonna be his best teammate Locha, because whenever Blade consumes his HP, he needs to get healed. So Locha does that. He auto heals Blade a lot. He will keep him alive, and so Locha is very important for Blade. I would recommend getting Locha on the rerun. If you don't have Locha, then I would recommend using Lynx. Lynx also is a better option. And I think in 1.6 you can get Lynx for free. So if you are a new player, you don't have Lynx, and if you just got Blade, then you can get a free copy of Lynx. So you can use Lynx if you don't have Locha. Then you can use Lynx with Blade. And then comes Bronya. Bronya increases attack, which Blade doesn't scales of attack, but what Bronya gives to Blade is the crit damage. The crit damage that Bronya gives to Blade, that actually benefits him doing a lot of damage. So Bronya is his second best teammate. After that, I would say Fu Xuan. Fu Xuan, you can also use sustained characters with Blade, with Fu Xuan as well. Or you can use Pella or Silver Wolf. If the enemy doesn't have a wind weakness, you can use Silver Wolf. So that's the teams that I mentioned. All right. And you can also, there's also new character. You can also use Hanya. It increases speed. So if you're running HP, if you're running HP boot, I recommend using Hanya with Blade, because she increases speed of it. She will increase the speed of Blade. So I recommend using Hanya over. All right, it will be very useful to Blade. And you can also use Asta if you use Asta. You can also use Asta, but Hanya will be very good as well. All right. Should you pull for Blade? If you are a new player and if you don't have Blade, I highly recommend getting Blade because I know a lot of people are going to start playing Honkai Star Rail after hearing Dr. Ratio is going to get free. So a lot of people are coming back to Honkai Star Rail, and a lot of new players, start playing Honkai Star Rail. So you need a DPS. So I highly recommend pulling Blade. And Blade is an amazing wind destruction character. So I highly recommend pulling for him. He won't let you down. He does so much damage. I highly recommend pulling for Blade. So yeah, go for him. But do keep that in mind that if you have the Lightcones that I mentioned before, then only pull for Blade. Other than that, then you have to get those Lightcones that I mentioned. It's very important to have those Lightcones. If you're planning to make a Blade team, then you can also, later on, you can also get Locha, which is his best teammate. So yeah, go for Blade. I highly recommend pulling for Blade. Amazing DPS character. He is treating me well. And alright.
If you guys enjoy my Blade build video, please do consider like and subscribe, and I will see you in the next one. Take care everyone. Peace out.